The presentation today is called The Secrets of Supercharging Your Marketing and Profits in 2026, and it goes something like this. So today I want to start off by saying congratulations for investing your time in being here today, making the time to be a part of this, because it's going to be fast-paced, a lot of information in there, but more importantly, you're taking the time out to do something for yourself. So as it is about you, please take notes. It's critical and it's so important. You will forget about 97% of what we cover today unless you write it down. All of this, any programs, any courses, any learnings that you do, any books that you read, unless you implement it, it's pointless waste of time. And unless we write things down, we will forget about it. So please write down anything that stands out to you and anything that feels like a light bulb. So a brief overview of me and my story. Why am I here talking to you? So my first business was with a friend of mine. I built 152 apartments out in India. I can just about speak English, yet I decided to go out there. Don't speak the language at all. I'd never been to this part of India before. And we raised some money from investors and built 152 apartments. We sold them to people all over the world. And as that business was coming up, I decided to start a chili sauce business with my family in my garden shed with £900 on my credit card. And so I sold out of that property development business to put everything into my family business. And as we grew, we started supplying the supermarkets like Tesco, Sainsbury's, Ocado, Selfridges, and all these other big names. And I found myself in a position where you see the image on the left-hand side, Saturday night, 10:17 p.m. And I'm celebrating the fact that I'm working, because that's what I thought business was. I thought that's what you have to be doing every single day. And my boss, i.e. me, was an absolute lunatic. No days off. My health was being affected. My mental health was being affected. Relationships. I used my old house, you see in the middle there, as a storage room, as a warehouse, and nothing was really professional. I had basically created myself a job that I couldn't leave. And I decided to do something different. A friend of mine told me about business coaching. I really didn't know what it was, but I thought, look, let me give it a go, because he said to me, what's the worst thing that can happen? You can change your life and you can have the best life you could imagine, or things are going to stay the same. So I gave it a go, and it was so transformative. In my first session, on the way home, I booked my first 7-day holiday in 7 years, which you see on the right hand side. And so I continued to do that for a few years, invested thousands and thousands of pounds in coaching. And when the opportunity came up to become a coach myself, I qualified and have been coaching for the last 4 or 5 years, and still have my businesses. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is because it's part of my story, and it's why I'm here talking to you right now. If it makes sense to do so, connect with me on YouTube. You're on YouTube right now, and on Instagram. You can do that by using any of these handles that you see on screen. But let's dive straight into it. I've got some questions to ask you, and if you can, if you're here in the chat, please answer them in the chat box. First question I've got for you: what is a business? What is your definition of a business? Because when I learned this, it blew my mind. I'll wait a couple of seconds to see if there are any answers. What is your definition of a business? None yet. Well, look, this is it. This is the definition of a business: a commercial and profitable enterprise that works without you. I just want to repeat that because it's so important. A business is a commercial and profitable enterprise which works without you. Build your business so that it works and it becomes a saleable asset. Whether you sell it or not, and whether you work in it or not, is a choice that you can make afterwards. But your business should be built to work without you. And that's not easy to do. It takes 3 to 7 years at least, with help, with coaching. What is a business coach? Well, a business coach is an unreasonable friend who holds you accountable to the things that you said you were going to do, which is critical. And then, is business coaching right for you? Well, if you're someone that says, I know, yeah, but you've always got the answers, find it difficult to take advice from others, especially when you're having a hard time, perhaps it's not for you. But if you're someone that says, go on, I'm listening, that's interested, and you're open-minded, then potentially coaching and mentoring and learning is going to be right for you. So this is the critical piece. If you can learn to build this, if you can learn to build a commercial and profitable enterprise which works without you, you'll win. It's as simple as that. So now I've got some questions for you when it comes to marketing. It's a participation exercise, and write down the answers to these questions. How is your current marketing strategy delivering your goals? Are you just putting content out there for the sake of it? Leaflets and posters in your shop, in the windows, telling people about the business for the sake of it? Or are you being quite strategic about it and ensuring that every single marketing activity you undertake is designed to deliver a goal that you've got in your business? Next question. What is the impact of this marketing strategy on your personal income? You may not think there is, or you may not be aware of it, but 100% there is an impact on your personal income, because ultimately your business is there to pay you. And if the marketing strategy is not in place, it's going to be impacting your personal income. Next, in 5 years, will you have more or less time for marketing? The assumption is in 5 years' time, you're going to be busier. Life rarely stays the same. And if time is a complaint, I don't have time for marketing, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. When are you ever going to make time? If things don't change today, nothing's going to change in 5 years' time. Your life will be exactly the same. Your problems, your challenges are going to be exactly the same. If not, they may be worse because you're going to be busier. If you do get busier and do not change, write this down. What is the likely impact on your business, health, and personal relationships? Are they going to get better? Will they start to struggle? Will there be a negative impact, positive impact if you get busier and do not change? Write it down. Next, some of you may have done this already, but write down and define your dream client. It can be more than one. Think of your best customer, your best client, the one that you really love working with. Who are they? Where have they come from? What is it about them that makes them a brilliant client? You may have several, so write that down. What is the exact problem and pain that you solve for them? So the challenge that I've got for you when it comes to answering this particular question is that if you can't talk about the fact that you sell post-it notes, let's say, if you can't say I sell post-it notes and I sell post-it notes that are of fantastic quality, if you can't say that, what is the actual underlying pain and problem that you're solving for someone? Because everyone says that they sell post-it notes. Everyone says that they've got the best quality product. But so what? How does that make you stand out? Are you a really well-kept secret? Are you fantastic at what you do? Are you brilliant? Your product's excellent, but no one knows about you. So how do you intend to change that? How are you going to change being a really well-kept secret if you are a well-kept secret? A lot of the time what happens, I had a coaching session yesterday with someone and she thought that, oh, I've got these wonderful products and I've got this wonderful website, brilliant Instagram, turn it all on, it goes live, and guess what? Crickets. She thought people are going to come running through the door and buy her products because it was big in her world. But when you put it out there, there's billions of other websites and platforms and profiles all competing for the same eyeballs. So how are you going to change things and stand out? How are you going to tell your story? Most importantly, as I said at the beginning of this presentation, write down one action you will take to improve your marketing implementation. And critical is to add it to your diary, because if there's no time assigned in your diary, there's no time assigned in your week to do this work, it's never going to happen, I promise you. Your goals, everything that you want to achieve in life only happen when you make time for it and prioritize it. So to make sure we're on the same page, let's just get clear on the definitions of what marketing is and the purpose of marketing. So what is marketing? Put quite simply, marketing is lead generation. Someone putting up their hand to say that they are interested in your product or your services. And the purpose of marketing is the delivery of your business goals. So if you've got a goal in your business to increase profits, to get 10,000 followers, whatever your goal is in your business, the purpose of your marketing strategy, and that's not just your social media calendar, that's not your strategy, but the business strategy, the marketing strategy that you've got is to deliver the goal that you've got in your business. That's the purpose of your marketing. All right, so why do you need a written marketing plan? A lot of the time when I speak to people, they're like, oh, it's in my head, I know what I'm doing. I've got a social media calendar that I post 6 times a week or 5 times a day. But why do we need a written plan and strategy? Because if we don't, it gets mixed up in our minds with all the other stuff that's going on in our life. But we also struggle with this, especially from a cash flow perspective, money perspective. If you're in business, you would have felt this, where it's called peaks and troughs. There's a moment in time where you do this massive activity so a massive rush of activity to get new customers and get money through the door. You make the phone calls, you send the emails, you go knocking on doors, and you start to get new business through the door, and you start delivering that business. And because you're so busy delivering that business, because you're going to get paid for it, guess what? You stop doing the marketing. So you have this 1 month where you've got a lot of activity and money coming through the doors and into the bank account, but then guess what? It drops because you stop doing the marketing activity, and then you have to start again. And your cash flow goes like this. It's called lumpy cash flow, and it's directly linked to your inconsistent marketing. But what if you could create consistent marketing? What if you could do consistent marketing to ensure that you have consistent cash flow? Well, in the future, that means that you'll have an opportunity to invest in your business, reinvest in your business, scale your business, and achieve all the things that you wanted to do, all from having a written and consistent marketing plan that you implement. So that's why it's so important. If it's not written down, it's not going to be happening, and you can't work through it. So this is your marketing plan. This is how you're going to create your own marketing plan. And it sounds simple, and it is, but it's not easy to do. It's not easy to implement. So first of all, what we want to be doing is understanding who is your target audience. Who is your target audience? And being quite clear and specific on that is important, because then you know who you're going to be speaking with and what tone of language to use, what they're into, what they're not into. Really important. Next, we want to understand is why would they buy from you? Going back to the example that I talked about earlier, let's say we sell Post-it notes, okay? That's our business. We sell Post-it notes. And we say we sell Post-it notes, and these are the best Post-it notes in the market. It's the best quality. But so what? There's 500 other people, 1,000 other people doing the exact same thing and saying the exact same thing. So why is someone going to buy from us? If we say price, again, a very difficult thing to compete on, because normally when you sell on price, it's a race to the bottom. Whoever's the cheapest is going to sell the best. So if you can't sell on price, if you can't sell on the actual product itself or the service itself, you can't sell on the fact that it's your quality. Why is someone going to buy from you? What is the value that you're offering them? What is the story? Why is someone going to buy from you? Next is understanding how you're going to market to that particular person. So you know the audience, you know why they're going to be buying from you and the value that you're offering them and the problem that you solve for them. But how are you going to market to them? How are you going to get in front of them? Where do they exist? And this has to be written down. If it's not written down, it's all going to be in your head and you can't do anything with it. When things are written down, you can amend and adjust and refine as you go along. The next question to answer is actually who's responsible. If you're doing everything, fine. If you're not and you've outsourced this to someone else, do you have uncomfortable team members? Do you have an admin person that now all of a sudden you've got doing your social media, or you've got doing your marketing for you, or writing up your email campaigns? Are they the right person to be doing that particular job, or have you just asked them to do it and they're doing it because they can't say no? Because that in turn is also going to impact the quality of your marketing plan and strategy as you go about implementing it. Next is when exactly will you or they be doing the implementation? As I mentioned earlier, unless it's in your diary and unless there's time that's been put aside for this to happen, whether it's weekly or monthly, it will not happen, I can guarantee you. So when exactly will you or they be doing this marketing and implementation? Next is writing down the investment of time and or money. If you can invest both, fine. You don't necessarily need to invest money up front because a lot of the basics are probably missing. But if you're going to be investing time, how much time? Writing it down, and again, making time for it in your diary, blocking that out in your diary so that you can do that. The purpose of using the money is to shortcut time and to put you out there in the world. Short of word of mouth marketing, which is of course the best form of marketing, how else are you going to get eyeballs onto your brand? And finding what's the outcome. You know, we have to start with the end in mind. There's something that we want to achieve for our business. And have we got that written down so that we know what we're working towards? And is your marketing plan delivering a SMART goal? So specific, measurable, achievable. Is it realistic and time-based? So a quick analogy is Google Maps analogy. Let's say you're driving somewhere and you're using Google Maps or Waze. The first thing that you'll do is you put your postcode in the sat nav and then off you go, because it shows you how long it's going to take, the route, if there's traffic and so on. And let's say we pull over for a coffee, you go off path and you set off again. the Google Maps is going to reroute you, but you still end up in the same destination. Where would you end up if there was no postcode in the sat nav? You'd end up, well, anywhere. There's no guarantee that you're going to end up where you wanted to end up. And so oftentimes that's how we operate as business owners, without that postcode in the sat nav, without knowing where we're going. And if we go off track, knowing how do we get back on track. So your goal in your business is like the postcode in the sat nav, and your marketing plan's purpose is like the car, is to deliver you to that goal. So next, the challenge for you is, how will you actually grow your lead numbers? This in particular is asking you about the channels that you're going to be using. So what is a channel? A channel is a route or a path that you're going to use to get in front of that ideal audience and that ideal target customer. So social media is quite broad, but let's get quite specific. If you're targeting, let's say Gen Z as your target audience, Snapchat might be the right platform for you, because it's got one of the largest engaged audiences of Gen Z, I think, on across the social media platforms, and it's kind of underused right now. It could be a TikTok audience, maybe it's a LinkedIn audience if you're going online only. If it's in real life, what channels are you going to be using? Maybe it's mums groups, maybe it's conventions, maybe it's forums and meetups, maybe it's run clubs. That's your channel for marketing your business. And the challenge that I've got for you is to see if you can write down 20. You're not going to use all of them, but see if you can write down 20 channels and pick out the best one or two. So as we now move into money and profits for your business, first of all, we have to deal with the psychology that's connected to your money habits. So some questions to ask that you can write the answers to. Write the first thing that comes to mind when you see this statement. Rich people are what? Debt is. Spending money is. The secret to wealth is. Talking about money is. Discounting is. Investing in myself is. So write down the words that are coming to your mind to finish these statements off, and these are going to start to reveal to you your relationship with money, because how you act with money and behave with money in your personal life has a direct correlation to how you do the same in your business with money and profits. So if you think debt is an awful thing, then you're going to struggle to use debt and invoicing and cash flow forecasting and things like that in your business. Very difficult. If you don't know the secret to wealth and you find money to be this magical, confusing thing, then that's how you're going to act in your business. So write down what beliefs that are holding you back from your dreams. What money beliefs do you have that are holding you back from your dreams? You find it difficult to talk about money, because in business you need to talk about money all the time. Profit and loss, cash flow statements, pricing. You have to understand money. It's a game. So what needs to change when it comes to money, and how will you change, and who will help you when it comes to money and profits? I will recommend 3 books that for me were game changing. So the first book is The Simple Path to Wealth. The second book is called The Richest Man in Babylon. And the third book is called The Millionaire Next Door. It's an American book, but the principles in the book still stand. It's a great book. So now we move into pricing and understanding why it's so important. So regular discounting to win work. Discounting once or twice, fine, but regular discounting to win work, not knowing your numbers, your true profitability, and scope creep, i.e. doing more work than you agreed to do for the price, is killing your business. And what I'm about to show you is why pricing and selling on value matters so much. Okay, learning to sell on value is a skill. It takes time. We can't do it in a half an hour, 45-minute webinar. But learning to sell on value is what I coach in my program. So let's play a game. Let's say we sell a product for £100. It's a pair of trainers, right? We sell a pair of trainers for £100. Actually, yeah, let's say we sell a pair of trainers for £100. Now, these trainers cost us £80 to make, so we make a £20 profit. Okay, great. We've got a 20% profit margin. Now, what happens if we decide to offer a 10% discount because we want to get more customers? How much does it cost us to make the product? Yeah, it still costs us £80 to make the product. This time we're making £10 in profit instead of the £20. Now, the reason that this is important is because a lot of times people offer a discount without really knowing their numbers. So in order for us to make the same amount of money, had we been selling at £100, we have to double the sales. So I'll just repeat that. In order to make the same amount of money after a 10% discount, we have to double our sales to make the same amount of profit. Okay. Now, fine. Granted, we might want to do that as marketing exercise to get new customers through the door because we're going to sell to them further down the line. But ultimately, you have to do a lot more work to make the same amount of money. What if we went the other way around? What if we increased our prices? How much does it cost us to make the product? The trainers. Our trainers now are sold for £110, still cost us £80. Happy days, we're making £30 profit now. A lot of the times people won't increase their prices because there's this fear around losing their customer base. And that is connected to your marketing, and that is connected to how you convey and sell on value in your business. But let's assume you've dealt with that and you know how to deal with that. You can actually afford to lose 1/3 of your clients and still make the same amount of profit. So our £100 trainers, and we're making £20 profit. If we increase the price to 110, we could lose 1/3 of our customers and still make the same amount of profit. And normally the people that leave are the ones that give us the most problems, and the ones that say are more likely to be our dream customers. So we have more time dealing with the better customers and we're making more profit. Happy days. So the reason that's important is because I want to introduce you to this strategy called X5. Well, I call it X5. It's taught to me as the 5 ways, but I call it X5. The most powerful strategy you can use to increase your profits and growth. Incredible. So get your calculators ready. There's some metrics in business that most of us are not measuring. I know I wasn't when I first started. It's like the dashboard on your car. You know how much petrol you've got in the tank. You know how fast you're going. You know if your tires need air. All the information you need in your car is displayed on a dashboard. But in business, we don't have that. We don't have any dashboards at all. So what's the difference between the items in white and the items in yellow on this particular screen that you're seeing right now? And the difference is this, that the items in yellow are outcomes. You don't really have much control over that. But you do have control over the items in white. They're outputs. You could do something about it. So, what's going on here? Let's do this with some real numbers. Let's say we've got a business and it generates 4,000 leads a year. We've got a 25% conversion rate. So that means we've got 1,000 paying customers that come through our doors every year. Great. Each time over the course of the year, a customer is going to buy from us 2 times. There's going to be 2 transactions. And every time they transact with us, they're going to be spending £100, which is great. So we've now got a business that generates £200,000 in revenue. 1,000 customers times 2 times £100 gives us £200,000 in revenue. Happy days. Let's say we make a 25% profit margin in our business. We make £50,000. Great. Nice business. But why is it so important to measure these metrics? Why do we need to know these numbers? Well, what if each of those X5 metrics we increase by 10%? So our marketing's got a little bit better. We've targeted our audience in the right way. We're telling them the right story. We're telling them why they should buy from us. We know what pain we solve for them. So we now get 4,400 leads. Someone putting up their hand saying, I'm interested in what you do over the course of the year. We've improved our conversion rate by 10%. So it's gone up by 2.5%. Again, just by making these small tweaks, hasn't cost us anything. But the interesting thing here is that the number of customers doesn't go from 1,000 to 1,100. It's not a 10% increase. It's actually 12.1% because it's 4,400 times 27.5%. It's compounding. And that compounding effect continues. So the number of transactions we increase slightly, and they spend a bit more money with us. But look what it does to the turnover. It goes from £200,000 to 292,820 over the course of a year. £92,000, 820 over the course of a year in additional revenue just by measuring these 4 metrics and increasing them by 10% each. What if we did the same with our margins? Well, we now get to keep an additional £30,525. Total profit, 80,525. It's a massive change. Your turnover has gone up 46%, but more importantly, profits have gone up 61%. You get to keep those profits and reinvest them in your business or use them or do what you need to do. So which should we tackle first? Which metric should we tackle first? A lot of the time when I ask this question, people jump to leads, number of leads. Get more leads through the door and it changes everything. But actually, it's not the right way to look at it. The first thing that we want to be looking at is the margins in our business. Because if we increase our prices, for example, overnight by 10%, we're instantly making more money. We don't have to change anything else in our marketing, in our business, but we're just instantly making more profits by increasing our pricing. You could do that. As soon as this finishes, you could turn this off, increase your prices, and you're making more money per sale. Next is improving the conversion rate. You've already got some leads coming through the door. You've already got some interest. But what if you can convert a few more of them? Improve your messaging, improve your marketing, improve your sales funnel, your scripts. I've got a document actually that I share with people on my program. There's 142 conversion rate improvement strategies on that document. Then we improve the average spend, then the number of transactions, and finally the number of leads. The number of leads is last because it's the hardest thing to do. It takes the most amount of money, the most amount of time, most amount of energy. And out of the 5 is probably the one that you can control the output of it the least. The outcome of it the least. The output you can control in terms of your marketing activity. But that's why it's last. Saying that, we always need fresh leads. I go back to that lumpy cash flow scenario. We always need fresh leads coming in, always. So that's how you improve your profits instantly in your business for 2026. Some of you who are watching this, if you want to take some additional help, scan this QR code. There's a link to this assessment in my description for this video. Once you've completed it, I'll send you a link and you can book a 45-minute gifted coaching session to work on your business, to work on any of the principles that I shared with you today. And that will help you instantly improve your marketing, instantly improve your profits, help you start to look at what your goals are in your business if you don't know, and yeah, hopefully help you have a more successful 2026. That is my very short presentation. In fact, all of these principles, you spent hours coaching and teaching these. It's probably about 15 hours, 20 hours worth of learning in there, condensed into a half an hour presentation. All right, that is it. Onichi, if you're still there, if you've got any questions, let me know. Someone else has joined. Say hi if you're there. I'll give it a minute or two. Hi, how's it going? Some new people joining. I've just finished the presentation actually, literally a minute ago. So the recording will be up at some point later on today or tomorrow. Onichi, thank you. It's amazing. Good. Let me know, what was your biggest light bulbs? Any questions that you've got, anything that you're not clear on, and you want to spend a bit of time deep diving, I can actually get the presentation back up and share it with you. But let me know what you're thinking. If you are here, if you are joining today, just say hi in the chat so that I know you are here and who you are as well. I just finished the presentation on how to supercharge your marketing and your profits in 2026. A lot of low-hanging fruit, a lot of things you can do without spending money. And if you did miss it, you can watch the recording. Hi, Amasahota. Did you watch it? I wonder. All right, I'm signing off, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of this. Oh, hang on. I've got more people joining now. This is incredible. I am the best kept. Yeah, you are a really well kept secret. On YouTube, the X5 growth was my biggest light bulb. Yeah, for me, that was an absolute game changer. They're just metrics we don't look at, right? We just don't look at those metrics in our business. We don't look at that dashboard. We don't have those numbers to hand. It's a game changer. And imagine we had that. We were taught how to do that when we first started our business. Measure metrics, make them KPIs in your business for your team and for yourself, and just work on improving those metrics day on day, month on month. Even if you just did one of them, right? If you worked on improving your margins for the next 3 months, your business would get better. If you worked on improving how you market to your audience and refining your messaging and pulling in the right audience, your conversion rate would get better. And they would most likely pay more money for your services because you're clearly communicating to them what pain you're solving for them, because it's never actually the product that you sell. If you're a Pilates instructor or a hair growth specialist, it's not the actual product that you're helping them with. It could be, the actual pain that you're solving for them is perhaps that they can't move or they're frustrated by the amount of pain that they feel every single day as a Pilates instructor. Or let's say if you're a hair care specialist, it's confidence, lack of confidence that they're feeling. That's the real thing that you're selling underneath, right? It's not the actual product itself. So you have to speak to people's emotions. In one of my modules, actually, the entire module starts off with the psychology about how we make decisions, because we're emotional creatures, whether we like it or not. We make decisions with emotion and then justify it with logic. And one of the modules on my coaching program, it defines how that works so you can really understand it and then understand how your messaging, once positioned in a way that speaks to emotion first and is wrapped in logic, becomes a much stronger message that creates higher conversion rates in your business. And you then attract people that are willing to pay more for your product and service because you're speaking to the emotion first. Oh, whilst you're here, I'm doing my best to change how I speak and say less and like you less. But on YouTube, from the X5, if you're still there, by the way, from the X5, what was it about that exactly that stood out to you? Is it the fact that you're measuring or not measuring, just how it works, the impact of compounding metrics and improving those metrics in your business? I'm not sure who else caught this. All right, everyone, I'm definitely going to sign off now. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. The recording will be live, I suspect, within the next 24 hours. It's just whilst it's processed. And until the next one, peace.